I am so happy to have on the line Valerie Romanoff, and I am surprised we haven't talked before this, Valerie, because you are based in Sedona, which is one of my favorite places, and I'm playing your music, your Healing Music Volume 2, on our station there, KUOS.
That is so exciting. I love to hear that.
Well,
Thank you.
I believe, and I'm sure you must if you're going to call your CD Healing Music, in the power of music to heal. And I think Sedona is one of the most powerful places around, and everyone's so open to that. I was on Facebook, and I saw that you were playing with Robin Miller the other day there.
Yes, I played with Robin Miller and his rock trio on Friday night, and then I played on Saturday night a sort of funky jam band gig at Mooney's with a band called Cult 45, and then I do the sort of new age meditation music, peaceful music with a groove as well.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great? I'm so glad that music is alive like that. I mean, Robin Miller has put out like 20 or 30 CDs. The guy's amazing.
And he too, also, he does the rock music, but he also has this angelic, beautiful piano music.
Absolutely.
That has inspired me for over 20 years.
So I noticed this music is I love the title. It says Healing Music, Peaceful Music with a Groove for Yoga and Other Meditations. And I totally get that. I'm having a rock background myself, growing up in Hollywood. I was raised with rock and roll. I was on some of the first rock stations there. And wow. I totally loved, and I've been doing yoga for, at least 30 years, 35 years or more. So do you do yoga as well?
Yes, sure. I do yoga, and I produce music for yoga, and I've worked on an album project with my 100-year-old yogi friend, Tao Porchon Lynch, where I scored music to her poetry and her meditations that she uses in her savasana. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but one of the pieces of music that we wrote together is up for an award for spoken word in the peace songs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Called Om Shanti Shalom.
How wonderful. How wonderful.
So
that's
music
great.
For yoga, it has a kind of an energy to it. My music, I call it still, chill, thrill, because there's music in every kind of state. During the course of the day, we may want to be very peaceful when we meditate, but we want to be a little more active when we do yoga. And then in the rest of our lives, we get a little excited, and we want music to ride with when we're being more energetic. So I like to do music in all of those categories and have them tie into each other and offer a different kind of a vibration that people can calibrate to, depending on where they want to be and what they're working on.
Well, I think you're very good at that. And if people, so many people go into Sedona for this. It's become world famous now. And you're going to be part of the 7th Annual Sedona Yoga Festival. That's coming up March 14th, Thursday, March 14th through Sunday, March 17th. And that's going to be at the beautiful Sedona Performing Arts Center. Tell people about that, because that's a lovely place to do it.
Well, the Sedona Yoga Festival, first of all, is an amazing gathering. People come from all over to be part of it, to teach and to present, and of course also to participate and to learn. But it is just such a heart-opening, high-vibe, peaceful, illuminating, enlightening kind of gathering. So I love being a part of it. And of course, the Performing Arts Center is fantastic. It's a nice, huge, big space, lots of different rooms. The stage, its back is beautiful, and it's just a really great place to join with everybody who's there, like-mindedness.
How long have you been in Sedona?
Well, I actually am based in New York, but I've been back and forth from Sedona to New York for 20 years. My family is in New York, and my main business is in New York. But I found Sedona actually really more like 30 years ago and was very inspired to be here. And I found that I came here to kind of rest and rejuve and recharge and come up with the ideas and get the seeds for manifesting. And then I would go home to New York and actually execute all these things.
Wow.
Well, over the years, it started to blend more. And I started doing more music here, and then I recorded my albums here.
Oh, did you?
Part of the music community.
Where did you record your albums there?
Excuse me?
Where did you record the albums?
Well, Safe Studio. My friend Nathan Gangadine has a lovely studio, and he's just such a beautiful presence. And he's also a yoga instructor and a spiritual teacher and a musician. And I did Healing Music Volume 2 in his studio.
Oh.
And then I also worked at another studio of my friend Eddie Barrettini, and I haven't released that yet, but that's more positive message, kind of funky pop tunes. So that hasn't come out yet, but I really like to weave them all in together.
I love it. I love that you're doing it. So tell me, because I mean, I love Sedona, but it's not an easy hop from New York to Sedona. There's no, you have to go right.
Is not.
You have to go to
12
Phoenix.
Hours door to door. It's a long day.
Yeah.
But, I just do it like it's nothing. I don't even think about it.
Wow.
I just leave my house. I'm an hour and a half from the airport in New York. I get on the plane. It's 2 hours from Phoenix to get up here, and by the time I get here, I'm just in another world, and it's it's otherworldly here in Sedona, as you know.
Absolutely.
And whatever I have to do to get here, I do. And sometimes I'll go back. I've gone back and forth a few times in a month.
What airlines do you fly?
It really depends. I fly a bunch of different airlines, depending on who's got the right flight. I fly a lot for work. I have a band in New York. It's called the Starlight Orchestra, and we travel all around the country playing dance music for big private events.
How did you get into that? Valerie, that is awesome that you get to play for big private events. I love it. Did your agent?
And it's very high energy, and one of the things I learned doing music for events is I learned that there really is an energy to events and a flow. Mm-hmm. And what makes a successful event is everything to do with the flow. Mm-hmm. And so I found ways to use music and modify the music and wait to roll out a higher energy and really tap into the pulse of the audience and see what is it that they're going to respond to, or what's going to be the most service to the people that are there, and what kind of healing intentions and love vibes can we put into the music. And people they don't even know that this is going on, but everybody feels uplifted and is happy. So I've learned a lot about music and energy through that practice, which is something that I've modified and turned into this healing music. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about at Yoga Festival, because one of the new things is that now not only am I playing this music, but I'm actually able to talk about it and point to what about the energy is something that we can use and tap into, and how people can really have a mindfulness about the energy in the music to strengthen their personal goals and their affirmations. And ultimately, it's about prayers for peace and love and uplifting ourselves and our world. And it's all one. It's all one big pot.
I totally agree. My last CD was Peace, Music, and Poems. And I did that with Kenya. Adi was my producer, and we I had a lovely time with it. And I'll have to get it to you. But tell me, I want to hear the inside scoop. Tell me about some of the parties you played.
The parties. We've done some really, really amazing, fabulous parties. The charity balls, the fundraisers, sometimes millions of dollars are raised in one night.
Wow.
And for that kind of a high-ticket event, we often will play after a celebrity headliner, or we'll start the night, or more likely than that, after the headliner, we'll then play dance music till the wee hours. We've also done a lot of celebrity weddings and big parties for people who are in the entertainment industry. And then, of course, just every kind of party. Anytime somebody wants something really special for dancing, my band is 15 to 18 people in it, and all of the singers they are happy, accessible, warm performers. Everybody dances. And so I have 2 choreographers in the group. And there's just there's a way of offering performance and offering a happy vibe so that everybody could just let loose and be free and let their bliss run wild.
But you got to know, and I know this because we have a problem here in Maui getting enough bands in because it's so expensive to bring the equipment, the band, the people. It gets pricey. So how do they pay for the whole transportation and the whole band?
Yeah, it is. It's a high budget item. It has to be for people who either have a value for that, who can afford it, or whose organizations are willing to underwrite it, or they know a lot of money is going to be raised. But it's very expensive. It's a high budget item, and it's interesting because it was a choice that I made early on in my career. I could, like the other, kind of wedding bands in New York, just work with whatever budgets were offered and whatever the clients wanted. You provide what you can in that price range. But after doing that for a few years, I found that the few times a year we had the really big budgets, what we were able to produce was so spectacular and so superior that I couldn't do anything but that. And I made it my job to find clients that wanted to go this route, so that I could always keep this machine in place. It's just like, it's something on another level. The form of entertainment, the quality of the performers, the skill, and not only the skill, it has a lot to do with the intuitive capabilities and the warmth and the openness of heart. So there's a hefty criteria for who's right for this party. And so when you have something that's just so well put together, people that want to hire you, they find you.
Do you have an agent to do that, or are you booking it yourself?
No, my company, Starlight Orchestras, is now called Starlight Music. My partner, Evan Tyler, does all of the booking and all of the sales and promotional materials, and we do it ourselves.
I am so impressed.
I used to do it all myself, but once I took a partner on, then I was able to free up and work on my original music and work on fusing together everything I had learned about energy and music flow and bring it into more of the yoga community and the metaphysical community and bring these two parts of my life together. Because I used to do the music as a profession, and then as a side passion project, I would produce music in my studio, and of course I was learning and studying about mind, body, spirit, psychotherapy, and I was on a spiritual path and a lot of inner work. And when the day came that I realized how to fuse it all together and make it one, was the happiest day of my life. And that's what I'm doing now, every day, using, trying to really be mindful and put the intentionality in the moment, whatever we're doing.
Well, you're certainly manifesting it pretty well with this job. I think it's fantastic that you created a dream thing for yourself and are able to do the high-end parties and then fly back and forth to that. Do you do parties in Europe and around the world, or you just stick to New York? Or where?
Yes, no, it's all over. We're all over.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And now I have a new band called SPIRIT JAMFEST, and that is the band that it's similar in vibe, and it's some of the same people as my Starlight Orchestra, but we're playing all original music, and we're at events and festivals where people are coming, not because they were invited to a party, but they're coming because they want to be part of this raising of the vibration. And so I'm just starting that project, and I have just wonderful musicians, and I can change the personnel and change the style of music based on the event. I mean, that's part of my training with Starlight. So sometimes when people talk to me about an upcoming event and they say, well, what is it that you do and how many people and what's the style, I say, well, let's see, what does the event call for? Because that is my background, putting together and producing musical ensembles for the needs of whatever the event is.
So do people go to what site to find out what you're doing with that? What's your website for the parties?
ValerieRomanoffMusic.com.
ValerieRomanoffMusic.com. Okay, tell me some of the... You didn't tell me any of the people you played for, but will you tell me the countries at least?
Okay, I'll tell you some people who I played for. Starlight played for the wedding of Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas.
Wow.
That's one of our more fun memories.
Was that in Hollywood, or where was that party?
At New York, the Plaza Hotel.
Oh, my gosh, how amazing.
That was pretty spectacular.
That's A-list. That's A-list, yeah.
That was A-list. And we've had a lot of great celebrities. Ellie Kemper, who's in the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, she was one of our brides.
Wow.
And through that wedding, there's just so many, so many people, comedy writers for Saturday Night Live and actors and actresses, and also Jimmy Buffett. We've played a lot of parties.
Oh
for
my
him.
God! Wouldn't you be nervous playing?
All of his friends are rock stars, and they all come and sit in and play with us.
How cool is that? So, what are some of the countries you've been able to go to play?
Some of the countries. Well, we've been here. We've been to the Bahamas, and we've been to Mexico, and we've been to Spain. And I have to say, we're looking forward to doing more parties overseas. It's a little bit more of an effort to get everybody over there than it is to go to Dallas or Denver or Palm Beach, where we are a lot. But we love to travel. This band travels together like a family.
Band will travel. And I guess, do you get insurance because you don't want to lose your instruments on any of these international gigs, do you? So you have to be extra careful about
We have a rider, and we usually send the rider along, and the client provides all the equipment that we need. We bring our own instruments, guitars, the trumpets, the saxophones, but everything big is provided locally. If we're in the States, we'll drive our truck sometimes, but we can't bring all that stuff on an airplane.
Yeah, that's a lot, that's for sure. And that's definitely a consideration, of course, when people come here to play on the islands. You know, it's a lot of equipment to get back and forth, and that gets expensive.
Gee, we really want to play in Maui.
We should.
You
really should.
I have a fantasy of having a little residency, being hired for a month or 2 months, and every week we do 3 or 4 parties, and they could all be different, or events, and we'll rehearse during the day and put together different music depending on what is required and needed. And then, of course, during the day, we'll be out in the water. I'm a big water
I love it.
lover.
And there's some very big weddings. This is Wedding Central here on Maui. It's one of the busiest places for weddings. Let's speak about the weather. Sedona has been getting some snow this week, hasn't it?
Well, this is really quite a surprising thing. I came out to Sedona about a week ago, and I'm preparing for several concerts. One of them is a New Age concert that I'm doing with Louis Coliani on this Friday night, February 22nd. And we just got a forecast for a blizzard, 12 to 14 inches, and there's no snow removal here. So the Creative Life Center, which is where we're doing the performance, called us today and said, I don't think that we should do it. I think we need to postpone it because we have no way of plowing the parking lot and plowing the driveway.
Right, and
So,
people are being told to stay inside.
Arizona,
yes.
Getting snowed out of our concert. So we're going to reschedule for March 8th, Friday, March 8th.
Oh, good to know. March 8th people can go. And I love that creative art. You've been there? Have you played there before at the Creative Art Center?
Sedona Creative Life Center.
Life Center,
So beautiful. It's up on Schnabely Hill Road.
Yes.
And I have played there several times. I worked with, I've performed for the Woman Arising, lovely event, and I played with a kirtan band called Sanchali. And I also, as part of the yoga festival last year, my friend Tal Porchon Lynch, who I think I mentioned to you, was doing a talk, and I did a little concert to open the evening and kind of set the space.
How
also
sweet.
Very sort of groovy but new agey kind of peaceful music.
I think you're really an inspiration probably for a lot of people, Valerie.
Thank you.
Well, a lot of people
much.
are trying to live your dream to be able to create what you want in 2 completely different areas of living, in New York and Sedona, and travel around doing these dream events with top-name people and doing your music as well. Your CD, Healing Music Volume 2, is out. Where do people get your music? What's the best place? Amazon?
Yes, I mean, at this point, you could just get music anywhere.
Yeah.
You could buy it on Amazon and iTunes and Apple Music and CD Baby, but you could also stream it on Spotify and on YouTube and all of the places that you would listen to music. On my website, of course, there's links. I was going to say that the album is up for an award. It was nominated as Best New Age Album in the World category, which was surprising, by the Zone Music Reporter. So that comes out in May. I'm very excited about that.
I'm very excited. I'm so glad we got to connect, and we will someday, maybe in Sedona, or here,
or Maui.
Yes, or at the Grammys. But I'm out of time. But I want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much too, and I can't wait to meet you in person and play some music.
Yeah, definitely the same too. So thank you, and stay warm.
Oh yes. All right. Thanks so much for having me on your show.
Bye-bye.